Hello, everyone. I am Samadhi, and I'm here with a very special friend today, Oscar Madera. And thanks for joining us on our Ecstatic. So yeah, we're bringing you some O's. And I want to introduce Oscar because he has been incredibly instrumental in my last 20 years of life, but also in the field of ecstatic dance. Oscar has helped me and helped our Houston dance over all of these years, and he is his own dance owner in Austin, Texas. He's been serving dance much longer than I have and has so much wisdom to share. So thanks for being here, Oscar, with me and with us. Yeah, I'm really excited to introduce you to, anyone who's interested in learning more about ecstatic dance. Basically, so I came back to Austin for some time now, a few months, and I was like, we were having such great conversations, and I'm like, we gotta show some of the characters, of the history in ecstatic dance and spread some of the love, spread some of the wisdom, and Oscar certainly has a lot of it. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Wow. So yeah, Oscar's been facilitating ecstatic dance every week for how many years now?
I started in 1999.
99. So yeah, that's about
been a while.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this is 2019.
That's right. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We've been dancing in Austin for about over 25 years. Yes.
Yeah, 25 years. Wow.
And of course, even before that, they had contact improv and other forms of dance, but ecstatic dance, I think, started back in 1994.
94? Is that when Corolla,
Terry, and Lori back then, was now Claire, but Lori, the three of them came from Houston.
Right, from Houston.
And brought Sway Your Prayers to Austin.
Okay, and that was in 94?
I think so, because I found them in 95.
Okay.
When I moved to Austin in 95, and that's when I found them. But I think it was late 94, because I didn't find them till late 95. So I don't know, but it was way back then.
Right. And so the name of the dance that they brought to Austin at the time was called Sweat Your Prayers. Right, from Houston, and then some time later they changed the name to Body Choir. Right, and Austin Body Choir, such a historic and wonderful dance that lasted a long time.
It was powerful. It was very big.
It
changed a lot of part of the dance and the dancers in Austin that came to it. We just kept growing. I mean, it was like 150 people dancing every Sunday. Then we had to we had a Sunday, Wednesday, then we had to start a Friday, and then we had to start a Monday. So we were dancing 4 times a week.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I remember those days. Because I lived in Fort Worth at the time when I met Body Choir. I met you and Corolla and that whole team. And I would drive from Fort Worth once a month for a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was like 3 hours, 3.5 hour drive. So I'd get up early on Sunday mornings once a month and drive over there.
3 hour drive.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So sweet.
And then later when I moved to Houston, I would drive to Austin and still come to the dance. That's why you saw me on occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to hear about how you got interested and introduced to ecstatic dance back in the day. Like, how did you come to find out about the dance? What led you to the dance? What was going on in your life?
Should I go back to like when things started happening in my life that kind of like,
yeah,
I didn't foresee that I was actually moving towards an ecstatic dance experience, because I was, I joined the military when I, right off of high school, and ended up in Fort Hood, Texas. But then right from there, I transferred to Germany. And you're 18 turning 19, and just like, I was like a little kid out there scared. I'm like, oh, all by myself. But what's interesting is I ended up living with a German family, and they there was two girls that were like in college stage. And one night they were going out, and they invited me to go with them with their boyfriends. And so I'm all dressed up thinking I'm going to a regular dance. So they said, we're going dancing. And we get to a house, and it's called Bebop's. And there's this big empty room with couches just pushed against the wall, lining the walls. And they only served juice. There was no liquor, no drinking. I was like, so right there I was already like, this is different. That they were doing juicing back in, this is 1980, right? I mean, it was a different, and so they were like going through their hippie stage, the college kids in Germany, and they took off their shoes, first of all. And I was like, this is new, you're gonna take off your shoes.
Right, yeah.
And and there's this just empty room, and the music's playing, and they get up and they dance. They just start by themselves. Like nobody's dancing with partners. And I'm not used to that. I was used to, you have to go across the room, ask a girl to dance, and then get shot down, and then do the walk of shame back to your table. And so I was terrified that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, I have to go across this big floor. And but they're like, no, just whenever you feel like it, just get up and dance. And so that was a form of ecstatic dance, but there was no such thing back then.
Right, yeah, definitely.
And so, so here I was dancing barefoot or socks and barefooted, and and then some guys traded my shirt, and so like, they were going through like a grub stage, like before even.
Like grunge?
Grunge, they were doing it back in 1980. It was funny.
Yeah.
And we swapped, and now I felt more fit in because he took my real nice sweater.
He gave you like a shirt to help you fit in.
Yeah. And so it was a powerful experience to have that. And then I came back to Texas, and then I ended up in Hawaii. I got stationed in Hawaii.
Wow.
Which was,
that's nice.
I was about to get out, and they said, you got orders for Hawaii. So I stayed in the military only for that reason. I worked in hospitals. It was really nice. But there was this place called Bahama Mamas.
Yeah.
And found that later, I was there 8 years. So kind of like close to the end of my tour.
You were there in Hawaii for 8 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Changed my life. And and that's part of this journey, this ecstatic dance journey, that everything that's happening to you, it's adding up. You don't know it, but you're in some kind of magical weave of journey that's leading you somewhere. If somebody had mentioned that to me back then, I would have probably said, yeah, right. So Bahama Mamas it was almost like when you walk in and the bottom is a biker bar. And then you go upstairs to where the little bands play. It's a small floor. It's like 20 people can probably fit in there.
Yeah.
And the Pagan Babies would play. Thursday night, it was the Pagan Babies.
Okay.
And they were playing Hawaiian, which is Hawaiian mixed with reggae. Or Jamaican, so it's called Hawaiian. So here was my first introduction to world music. mixed, like fused. And so the experience I had in Germany to get out and just dance by myself. So I didn't wait for anybody. I just got up and danced, and people were like, wow, this guy's, the minute the music started, I was on the floor. And Friday,
nobody else was doing that?
Well, then, yeah, no, but I think it was like, again, you know, we're all taught to have a partner.
Right.
And so people was just, we started all just, I mean, you would dance with people, and but you didn't need to have a partner. You could just get up and dance, and I love that. And then Friday nights was we call them the NABB, or they were called North American Bush Band, and they had brass and the Kwama, the singer, and I'm just like, what? Nice. It was funky. It was like African funk to the max. I mean, I was out of my mind, and I had to get in. I had to start dancing early because at the end of the third dance, it was smoky.
Oh,
I didn't smoke, and it was just, so I was good. I was just, I mean, this was during, you know, weeknight, so I would go to work the next day, just tired but blessed. So that was the start of my dance experience in a world fusion type of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Solo dancing, but dancing with the group, dancing with people. I would dance with a partner once in a while. And then when I left the military, I was in El Paso for 2 years, and then I ended up in Austin. And it actually took a year to find hear about this dance and Sweat Your Prayers. And when I walked in, I was so intimidated. I don't know why. I mean, because there was this group that was dancing so intimate, and so I was like a wallflower, and I was shocked that I who was used to jumping in the middle, but it was I think intimacy is intimidating. In that kind of dance, because you feel like you're in somebody's. It's almost like going to the family picnic of, you know, the Smith family picnic, and I'm not a Smith. So obviously I would feel out of place.
Yeah.
And I think that was what it was. I just, they were all just bonded, and they were having these beautiful dances, and people were dancing on their own, having an intimate dance by themselves. But then also there was this clump of people just having an amazing time. And maybe a couple of dances, I've started to move in.
Yeah.
And I finally got in and got like the bug, the ecstatic dance bug of my own, and
fitting in
more
and more.
First, you're all these ladies are dancing, and you're just like, I remember one of them actually taught me about, well, you're here to dance your own dance, because that was, again, new to me. I mean, I know I had learned something in Germany, but I only went that one time, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
in that Germany experience.
Yeah.
So this was dancing sensuality that is not sexuality.
Yeah.
So that was a whole new thing as a male, as a man, being in a room with all these people, being very sensual, and not understanding that it's not about anything but connecting with yourself first, and then having and sharing great dances with everybody. And I think the instructions were good they would give us about boundaries, and take care of your boundaries, and they would demonstrate the rhythms at that time. And so I got a very early on introduction into how we were being guided to move into a room full of people, be intimate, but not but respect people's boundaries.
Right. Yeah.
And then that taught us how to define our boundaries, and then allowed us to come out more and more freely. Yeah, because it's a fine line to especially like a man dancing with a woman, very intimate. And the great thing that I learned, I think early on back then, was when the dance was over, like a song, it was, I mean, we could have had the most amazing love affair, you know, just like, and then it's like, we're done. And
thank you.
Not taking, yeah, like, I think in early on you do kind of like, but then you learn that don't take it personal. And what happens is the dance stays there. You don't take it out like, oh, we got to pursue this.
Right,
further.
yeah. I totally experienced that too when I was, I mean, my first chunk of time in ecstatic dance, because, yeah, coming from a partner dance and professional dance background myself, yeah, there's not another really, any kind of a form of dance where where you can go in so deep, you know, like for real,
Connect with
really intimate like that. And then it's just, you know, that is its own thing that stays in with the dance. Yeah, because so many times I had amazing dance relationships, but it didn't mean that I got along well with that person outside of the dance at all, you know? So I did,
you don't even want to talk to them.
Come to learn that that's a very unique and special energy that is created, you know, person to person, one dancer, another dancer, so many beautiful experiences can happen, and just to let them be, you know, let them stay in the dance. And that was kind of, I had some hard lessons around that, and I'm sure we all did. Right?
Yeah, and to take that practice out to having relationships,
right,
in real life, and you develop your heart and your, I mean, it really helps you develop this sense of opening up to be in a relationship, because that you become vulnerable.
Right.
When anytime you want to connect to somebody and you have to expose your heart, you have to, you know, open the doors and the gates and become vulnerable. So dance is a great way to practice that, like, so you can give and receive. But then if things happen, you don't get all crushed, and then you like close the gates and then no.
Right, yeah.
But
I mean, that's one of the most beautiful things I think about ecstatic dance, is that connection that we can make to ourselves, to another, and in that safe and sacred container where let's let the dance be deep and meaningful, and let's experience what it is to be human with ourselves and another. But let's leave it at that and let it be sacred.
Yes. And that we don't have to put an expectation or create any story behind it, because that's what it leads the logic, the mind wants to lead into. It has to be a story that makes, you know, that because this happened, now this should be happening. And
right, the logical sequence doesn't really exist here. Right?
No, and that's where we get in trouble ourselves, because we expect something and we get hurt. So yeah, dance is a powerful way to practice giving yourself an opportunity to experience something so beautiful with, you know, especially with other people, and learn something about yourself and how great you are as far as somebody who, because we shine the light on others when we're, you know, when we just enjoy, and we're receiving their light, which is like beautiful and happy, and then you get lost in that dance.
Yeah, you can get.
It's hypnotic.
Yeah,
you know,
you can go really deep.
You might want to like, I want this forever, but to know that it's okay if it's just momentarily. But you have a lifetime experience right now, this moment.
Yeah, and then over time, I've witnessed the development of people just becoming a safe and sacred space within themselves. I mean, that certainly happened for me at some point in time. You know, luckily some of my dance partners, you know, admitted to me that they wanted to share a dance with me, but not have that needy energy, you know, like, I need you to love me and all that, you know. So that was like a huge awakening for me. Like, how can I retain my own sacred energy and then also be able to share it with another while keeping the dance in the safe zone where they want to share with me and I want to share with them, but we're not taking from each other, you know, we're adding to each other, not taking anything away.
Exactly. And we're helping each other grow. We're helping each other develop a sense of to love and be loved, because sometimes it's so easy to love or show love, but to receive love unconditional, because again, our history, our past has shown us so many times when we've experienced conditional love and we end up being you know, emotionally hurt or sometimes even physically hurt.
Right.
That we become very defensive, very closed, and it's hard to just allow an experience happen that's fluid, and yet, you know, I can't force it. I can't. There's no formula. There's nothing that I need to, that I learn, that I do step 1, 2, 3, and then this happens. Dance is so spontaneously evolves. And so when you're that open to be surprised and then let it just be what it is and not make anything else out of it, then I think that's when we grow.
Yeah, and that's in like an eternal amount of depth that we have, each one of us. So that's why it's never ending. That's why we can continue exploring ourselves, learning new things about ourselves in relationship to this other, that other, this other, and this me, that me, this me, that me, you know, and seeing ourselves in the other. It's deep and beautiful. And I know you have been instrumental in empowering many dancers' lives, and, you know, not just dancers, but other locations. Like Oscar came to Houston when I was in there training at Body Choir, training to be a facilitator, learning how to make the music, and Oscar and Corolla came to, you know, Houston to help facilitate the first several dances, because even though I was in the training, you know, it was still like I came from a whole different world of, you know, telling people exactly how to do something. And so then this is...
You're a professional dancer.
Yeah, I came from the professional dance world where there was a right way and a wrong way to dance. And so this was completely opposite. So you've been very instrumental in helping other dance locations and a lot of dancers to learn how to look in, and whether it's look into how to facilitate, look into how to dance with another being, learning how to dance with oneself, or, you know, learning how to create these transformational music flows as well. I mean, you're a master at these things. I consider you a master anyway. I've learned so much from you, and it's so great to see your evolution and your continuation of bringing the space for our community to keep flourishing. And so, I mean, what has it been like to keep the dance going week after week after week after week after week after week all these years? I mean,
well, you know, it's a labor of love. I mean, and if it's not a labor of love, I would say don't do it. Because
right, definitely.
if you make it just enough money to pay off all the bills and pay some facilitators, but to see dancers evolve. For example, there was especially for men, you know, men have the hardest time to just open up in a dance. And I remember one that came and in the very beginning was very shy, for a better word, and would stay on the sides, but kept coming. And I'm like, well, that's a good sign. You know, keep coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, months, like 8 months, just, and people wanted to dance with him and everything, but you don't want to push anybody. You don't want to force anybody. This is not about, like you said, there's no right or wrong. And so as a facilitator, you also give people room to grow at their own pace. You know, but that's all we do. Create a container, and then we don't control it.
Right.
It's not our job to force anything that needs to be at this point or this time. So, but what happened was somebody flew by me and bumped me, and I knew it was intentional. And as they moved away, and now this person was flying around the room and dancing with everybody. So they found their ecstaticness, you know, and
like their freedom. Right?
Oh, their freedom
broke out of their shell.
Oh my! It's like they've been locked in this, and I can recognize it, and you see it in a lot of people. And life is not life is not nice most of the time. And when you get knocked down, it doesn't slow down. It doesn't wait. Oh, you're having a hard time. We're just going to pause and wait for you to get back. No, life just keeps going. And so dance is a way to come in, because I always say we come into dance like all like intense, compressed. We're compressed.
Yeah, like in our shell.
This is our job or whatever, the have-tos or the deadlines and everything, and the expectations. And it's allowing us to come in, and you as a facilitator, well, first you created your container.
Right, and creating a really welcoming, inviting, calm, grounded, loving space.
Yes.
Where people can just walk in and feel it. It's just like the stress just melts off. And it's like,
very
take a breath.
Inclusive, so they feel included right off the bat.
Yeah.
The first time in this dance, it should feel inclusive. And then the music that we create is designed so that it's slowly and gently unravels that compressed beingness of yourself. It's just like, to expand, but not to like explode out. It's like you want it to, by itself, just to unwind itself.
And I also feel like we every week, you know, even if we're dancing for years and years, we still come in with whatever we're bringing in for that week, or whatever stress or deadlines and all of that. And just the music really, the sacred space and the music helps us to just be in that, but let it go, like just let it drop into the earth, be with it until we move through that, and then we can let that go. We talk about that a lot, letting stuff go. And then so that we can go deeper into another part of our being that the music will spark. You know, and I love how we don't just go into like happy, fun music right off the bat, you know, because that's, anybody can do that and pretend like, oh yeah, I'm feeling good, this is a great song, but what I like about the way that you bring your teaching and music is to really let people go inside and be with what is until it melts away. And then there's like this natural blossoming of the next layer. Right.
Yeah,
and then the next
relax.
layer. We want to like naturally call out the layers of our being to come out and express, whether it's sadness, tears. We may need to cry a little bit sometimes to just get through one of those layers or levels that need, that so that we can release something, or, even feel sadness, and invite that, because that's our authenticity and that real part of ourself that is vulnerable. Like you're saying, that's that vulnerability to really open up to ourself, so we can be real with ourselves, and then we can be real to another.
Yeah, to get there, not to just take it.
Right. Yeah.
But to get there organically, allow the soul to, because it's the soul that's all wrapped up from, and like this one person, decades of compression.
Right. Yeah.
I would say there's doubt, which creates fear, which creates anxiety, which then creates more doubt. And it's just and all that is like wrapping, tighten. And so I don't care how much fun or beautiful something is, when you come in that compressed, that's how you're listening. That's how you're receiving something. So it's good. It's good to be compassionate and patient, but to create that container that serves both those that are already excited and ready to go.
Right. Yeah.
And those that are not there yet. So I think the discipline for us as facilitators, and if when we're training people, is to teach that discipline, that you're not just serving one form of group, you're serving a spectrum of souls that are coming in there with their journey, in the middle of their journey, and we don't know their stories. We never get to talk to them at the time. We just go drag in there. Some people drag in, some people bounce in there. They're already ready to go. But so we have to serve them too. We can't just be like, oh, we're going to take care of these people that are not ready yet. They'd be like, oh.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I love the wide variety of music. That it's chosen to take these different souls, these different paths, these different ages, these different beings on a sincere journey for themselves, but also somehow affecting the group, in a very positive, like I love to call it deliverance, by the end. Like we want to come deliver, this beautiful space of bliss and peace and love and joy and gratitude, by the end. So yeah, holding the container for that. That's the powerful medicine that you were talking about. All these little, very subtle but powerful components of putting a dance together, creating a dance, offering a dance, serving a dance. It's got to have the powerful medicine, for each being who comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're inviting them to this buffet, and depending what you offer. I have this image. So I tell the group, I say, I just built a swimming pool. Come swim in my swimming pool. And so everybody's excited. It's like, oh, Scarlett's got a swimming pool, and you show up, and then you get in, and the water's only like this deep, 2 feet deep. That's it, right? That's it. And everybody's like, just lay down, and just kind of like, but you lay down. I mean, it's just deep enough. It's a little more deep enough. But I mean, your knees are hitting the bottom, so like, oh, so you you gotta really like only swim like a, I don't know, turtle or something.
Yeah,
just
right.
out. And here you are, you love to jump and dive deep and swim below and, you know, like a little dolphin down there.
Yeah.
But you're never going to do it in this shallow swimming pool that I'm inviting you to come really just explore and swim. So our swimming pool has to, when we invite the dancers, you know, into the dance, we have to have the deep section, and we have to have a shallow section. There's going to be
maybe a diving board,
and then a diving
slide.
board, yeah.
And some floaty floaty
and that's the you offer as much possible. I mean, obviously, we want to. They're going to get to a place where they can go deeper and swim and dive off the diving board someday. I don't know, but it's not even for us to manage that. That's not I don't think that's I believe that's not my job. My job is to create a container. And people get what they need when they need it.
Yeah, like some people might only be comfortable sitting on the first step of the pool. But later they see all these people going down in the deep end and, you know, holding their breath and swimming deep and diving and jumping off. They're like, one day I'm going to do that. You know?
Yeah.
And then they do. That's that breaking free. You know?
And for us to embrace every one of them, you know, that they feel appreciated, even if they just sit and have their feet in the water,
right? Yeah.
And that it's like that's enough, and you're just as important as you're one of the dancers, no matter what you bring or do at the dance, you're still just as important in this, and that you're doing big work also.
Right, because every person is creating an impact with another person, you know. I mean, what I experience is a lot of internal processing is going on, whether I'm thinking about it or not. You know, I may be relating to a person sitting on the first step of the pool in a way that I need to relate to someone in my outside life, you know, and that experience of me getting to be gentle or appreciating and interacting with this person on any of these levels, you know, it helps me to prepare myself for how to deal with my life outside of the dance. And I mean, this has been one of the biggest gifts really that I still experience in the dance, because, you know, life mirrors the dance, and every person mirrors my people in my life outside of the dance, and I can come in and be assured that I'm going to get what I need, whether I'm just you know, not really or not outwardly participating, or where it looks like maybe I'm just sitting on the sidelines, you know, that day, or taking some time for myself. There's a lot of work that's going on. A lot of magic really is happening. You know, like the medicine of the dance is playing itself out.
Yeah, even as dancers, we see somebody just, they're on their own, you know, they're very quiet, but they're working, they're doing major stuff internal, and we respect that. And it brings up something for me. It's like, to be in a room, let's say there's 80 people, 90 people. I mean, there's dance here in Austin that's like 200.
Right, yeah.
And somebody will have an emotional release. I mean, they're, you know, crying or even sometimes screaming, but just, and there'll be maybe 2-3 people will go and attend to that person, to that dancer. And then there's to be the other group that's just still dancing. Like, and it's not that we don't care, or they don't, it's just that everybody there gets to be where they want to be, and there's no responsibility, and there's no shame about, oh, I didn't attend to that person needing attention. Well, they're getting attention. And there's always people that are there to serve that.
Right. Yeah.
And so to be in that kind of room of souls that everybody owns their free will, and there's no right or wrong about it, and nobody's telling you stop dancing, there's somebody crying.
Right.
We're cranking the music up, like, yay.
Yeah,
because
right.
that person is having a medicine's happening. So,
right.
You know.
And like all the different perspectives that exist too. This is just a mind-blowing experience that I'm still having too, is like, what is my perspective about something, you know? I mean, I have felt what you just were talking about, where my friend is there crying, and I want to set that free, you know, in myself, because and then another perspective that came about is that I can set them free because I know they're going to be okay. I know that from my own experience, if they can cry all the way through this thing, they're going to come out smiling, and they're going to come out feeling better. They're going to come out healed and dancing, you know? So because I've had that experience now, I totally trust that if anyone is going through one of these, you know, like a healing crisis or an emotional release in the dance, that I just trust they're going to get exactly what they need. And I've also been that person that have been in tears, and like when my mom died, I wanted to grieve really hard. I wanted to, and I chose to, and I, you know, I enjoyed it. But, you know, a friend of mine was coming over like, it's okay, you don't have to cry. And I'm like, yeah, I want to cry. Just leave me alone. Let me cry, you know, like, let me have this. This is my choice. I'm choosing to grieve and cry hard. And
that's the thing. Most of the dancers that have danced for a long time, they understand that a lot is happening, and they don't. We're almost just. When they hold them, they're allowing. It's almost like you're being a midwife, and you're letting this person birth their whatever it is that is moving them. I mean, they're crying and having emotion, but they're actually. I mean, you don't go to a birth and grab the baby and pull it out of the
right.
I've been to 2 births, home births, and my daughters, but the first one, and that was, maybe I can mention that. That changed. That was part of, I think, the ecstatic dance training that I was having that I didn't know I was having.
How did you get training?
A friend, I was learning I was doing Tai Chi in Hawaii, and a good friend is my good friend Lori she was a naturopathic doctor and a midwife, and for some reason I started having this desire to become a midwife. And so I went to her trainings, and I just went with all these pregnant moms. I was in a room with a bunch of pregnant moms, and went through the training that they do to help them get ready to birth at home. And so we finally got a couple, beautiful couple, interracial, had already 2 girls. And the girls were going to be at the birth, and then and they were okay with a male assistant. That was the other hard part, finding the couple that would be okay with a male helping her, because a lot is happening. And so what I experienced, and I think if everybody experienced this, you learn something. Talk about a container. And once the birthing started happening, there's this energy. It's the baby's energy takes over. And I had to help the mom get up, and she had to go poop. You know, helped her walk her naked to the bathroom. And she just couldn't go, so I got her into the hot bath. The midwife's like, get her in the bathtub. And she pooped in the bathtub. She just got to relax. And now I got all these smells and got poop floating, and then I had to clean it too.
Right.
But you're not even conscious of that. You don't, the smells, the what you're doing. You're in the zone of the baby, and
higher purpose.
Right, and so that helped me I think that helps me as a facilitator, because I think when you're creating a program, you're birthing a dance for everybody. But to know that there's this magic energy is so powerful. And so when it all happened, I ended up sitting and there was they wanted me to film, and I was so involved. And we finally got her in the bed, and the baby's head pops out. She's crowning. Lori's like, oh, she's crowning. So I grabbed the camera and I start filming, and right there the baby's head comes out, and the baby looked around like, and then the birth finally happened, and the daughters were able to cut the umbilical cord. So that was beautiful to see them participate. Anyway, just to understand the energy, the role of the midwife is not to hold the baby out or have the baby for the mom. She or he holds the container, and is a very powerful person. You have to be both gentle and yet powerful.
Strong,
at that moment, because you got two lives in your hands. And if anything goes wrong, you have two lives. And I take that as a facilitator, and also as a dancer. We are called to be midwives in the dance when somebody's going through emotional thing, or somebody's going through a joyful thing. Is that we don't interfere with what's moving through people, whether it's pain or grief or any, like this person that came to you that don't cry, but it's like you're birthing, you're grieving, you're having joy, and so the best thing we can do is just hold them in our, just create that feel. Or I think that when I was talking about earlier about the rest of us are having to keep dancing, it's because we know there's a container already there.
Yeah.
Like when the responsibility is not our responsibility to take care of everybody, because the powerful sense of the when you created this container, and the facilitator creates the container, and the music's creating a container. It's there. It's all, they already have the support and the midwife, and it'd be crazy for us to interfere. So the more we stay in our own dance, that's the best thing we could do.
And there's always those people who have that intuition and know how to, if it's needed, to even just direct love towards that person, or surround this person with love, and just stand there holding this loving space. Because sometimes that is also very powerful, and
it is.
And just, energy follows attention. So, I mean, our attention is there on the space enough, but sometimes it is helpful for those people who feel called to, bring that, or facilitators, like, our facilitator teams. We can tune in and gain that energetic sensitivity to know, like, is this an appropriate time for me to, shine my love on this person? I mean, it's usually not going to hurt. But yeah, over time, people tend to get a good sense of that, and when it's helpful, when it's not needed, when it's needed.
So when you were moving through your grief, it was at a dance, right? And at some point, did you get to that place where you had moved so much, and now you could actually move through, lyrical, the joy and all that, right?
Yeah,
you got
right,
to
that. Yeah. Because of my experience, in this, I've learned that if I just allow myself to go all the way into the depth of the grief, and then it only lasts about a minute and a half, if I actually let myself go completely into it, and then I break through that. And what's there is a smile and laughter and, you know, and like, wow, joy, you know. So, yeah, sometimes I've just gone just in through like a roller coaster, like grief, sadness, crying, all of the worst parts, and then laughing, joy, hysterics, and then calm, and then grief, crying, you know, just like roller coaster through all of those emotions. And sometimes, you know, a nice sacred space person is there holding, and I'm just like, it's kind of like I'm pre-grieving something that, you know, was to come that now will be prevented because I'm allowing it to happen in the dance. You know, so many different perspectives, but yeah.
When you were saying that, I remember when the moms that were going to have babies, we watched a video. We had to watch 40 births.
What?
40.
Wow.
Not the whole thing. But right when the baby was coming out, every one of them. And so the first one is like torture. You know, I had never seen a live birth.
Oh yeah.
Natural birth, right. And I was like, but then after I watched 5, and then 6, and then. But what was amazing, I'll never forget, is that every woman, I mean, you're experiencing them going through the worst of it, you know, the pain, and they're screaming and they're pushing and they're going through all that. But the second, I mean, literally the second, it crosses over. The second the baby comes out, her whole beingness changes.
Yeah.
She goes from pain to joy.
Yeah.
Like instantly. I watched it 40 times. Pain, so like a torture pain, to overwhelming love, joy. And to see that, like you say, when to know that somebody's going to move through something in the dance, and there's joy at the other end.
Always, there's always joy.
Because you can't fake. You know what I said something. You can fake happy. You can fake happy. You can fake I'm okay. Like, oh yeah, are you okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you can fake that.
Yeah.
But you can't fake joy.
No.
That's what the dance is about, is to know the spectrum of emotions and know when you're performing and know when you're faking. But when you experience joy after that journey, I think you're a different person at the end.
That's that transformational, you know, experience. That's that deliverance that I'm talking about. And, you know, this is a major key element that I learned from you, and also with experiencing, you know, Austin Body Choir in the beginning, because back then, dance really was about having this safe and sacred space for these transformational experiences. And this is a huge part of what I also worked towards creating this type of a space where people can drop deeply into themselves and move through these things, so that it is a personal growth process, and it is a healing and transformational space. And, you know, nowadays, ecstatic dance has got a lot of different variety of what kind of dances people are offering out there, you know, creative dances with different kinds of DJs. And, you know, not all ecstatic dances are focused on being a transformational dance space, you know, so there's more, you know, there's just more variety. So, you know, we're not always going to get these spaces, you know, made for transformation, but this definitely, the history of ecstatic dance comes from a deep and rich transformational space, you know, history and quality, and even the design of the music has this natural body transformation. We'll talk more about the music in another meeting that we have, but yeah, the transformational qualities that we've been able to experience and hold space for is really that powerful medicine, you know, that gives people that free will to explore who they are in the safe container, and create deep, long-lasting friendships and deep, long-lasting, you know, ways to love ourselves and be able to share ourselves with others.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing journey for sure, and definitely one that has saved a lot of people's lives.
I believe that.
I mean, you've seen a lot of benefits, you know, for your dancers and other facilitators that you've trained.
Yeah. Somebody told me the word capacity one time, and it really stuck to me, because then capacity becomes, so this is capacity. So there's like a future, and I like you said, we get to witness people that come in, and their capacity is really, their sense of capacity is really small.
Right.
And sadly, I experienced a man in the military. He got to Hawaii, and he just shipped him over there, and he had just got divorced. It must have been a really heartbreaking separation or whatever. But here he is by himself. I helped him move all his gear up to the room that I was moving out from. I was moving out, he was moving in, and in the barracks, it was like a barracks type of thing. And there was something about his look. And now that I know about this word capacity, I knew what I was looking at. I was looking at somebody who was his capacity was now in hours. And I remember seeing other people who their capacity was in days. So when your capacity is way out of the future, like, you know, you're thinking, oh, I'm going through this training, and I got a year, or I got months of training. But when somebody's really suffering in capacity, just to get through this month, and then the capacity moves to how many days, and then it moves to how many hours. Well, this man eventually, that next day, had committed suicide. So I saw the face of capacity at this minimum. And when I see people at dance, and they're leaving dance after having the experience of dance, their capacity has just expanded to a place of, because their creativity has expanded. So that's, as facilitators, and as when you hold a container or a dance, that's what you're offering more than anything, I think, is we're offering them the sense of to expand their creativity. And because you said sometimes we save people. And it's they're saving themselves, because they are allowing themselves to come to this container, be vulnerable,
right? Yeah.
And then be stretched. And be thrown around by music, and then connect with people, and sometimes they don't know these people.
Non-verbally,
yeah. No rules. We didn't give you any guidelines. Just like, get in there. But to walk out with your creativity expended, and then your capacity, your sense of capacity, you just walk out ready for everything. We don't give you the answers. Creativity doesn't give you the answers. Creativity gives you this ability to see all your challenges and say, I got some ideas. I got some ways to work around that, or work with it.
Expand our perspective. Get a new perspective. That's what I like to do. Go upside down and be like, what are the other perspectives that I'm not seeing here yet?
And then you're ready to go and get the tools and get the material that you need to work out all those challenges.
Yeah, and it gives people hope, and like, I can do this.
And
I can do this, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get through this.
Mm-hmm.
I made it through the dance journey.
Yeah.
If I can make it through the dance journey.
I always tell people at the end of warm up, okay, you made it this far.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, you didn't run away at the end of warm up. So.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, and thank you for coming and sharing your love and wisdom. And I look forward to hearing more about your journey and sharing more about our journey.
Yeah. I guess I can give kudos to my teachers,
Oh, yeah.
You're the three that brought the dance to Austin.
Yeah. Tell us about your
Lori
teachers.
and Terry and Corolla. Corolla was like my bigger, expanded teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So more next time. Thanks for joining us on our Ecstatic. All right.